Hey everybody, I'm Symes, and this is Robin.
That's not Robin, that's a spaceship.
Oh, you're
I'm
right.
Robin.
He's Robin. This is a space station.
Yeah.
Camel
It's
Station
spinning
Alpha.
like there's no tomorrow.
Look how beautiful it is. Look how
It's a lovely shot down there to Earth.
yeah. Look how few Eurekas it's generated in the time we've been doing it.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while to fill that up to 50, which is when that experiment's going to finish. But
Right.
nevertheless, it's
We're
doing
cruising
stuff.
at an altitude of 103,000 metres.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's just all lovely, and we have 7 crew on board, which is something I forgot to mention, as well as Jebediah, who's in the command module.
Who looks a bit beheaded.
He looks like his head's come off because it's weird.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of other crew on board, 3 of them in the science lab, and 1 person in the zoology bay who's currently not doing anything.
Are they all connected up so they can sort of poodle between each other's areas?
Not by default, no, but the crew manifest thing that I've got installed would let us move them around without having to EVA them, which makes it quite useful. Otherwise, if you want to shuffle the crew around, you have to do it individually, like one at a time with EVA. It takes ages.
Ages.
So, lovely, lovely space station.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what are we doing this time?
So yeah, we're going to launch some more bits to stick onto this time.
Okay, so advanced gluing for
Additional
beginners.
gluing, because the science thing requires cyclotrons to complete the set of things we can glue on to do station science with.
Right.
So we're going to launch some cyclotrons, and then we're going to put some big solar panels on to power the cyclotrons
power.
with.
Is it running on batteries then?
It's got a couple of small solar panels and some battery packs on it right now, which are
I
enough just
suppose
to...
if we're going to power some bigger stuff, we're going to need bigger.
The
solar
cyclotrons
panels.
need a lot of power, and
Right.
we do not have enough.
Right.
So
No
that's what we're
cyclotrons
going
until-
to do.
Okay.
But first of all, coming up shortly, there's going to be some parts testing, because it wouldn't be the same without a bit of parts testing.
Nope.
And this is
Here we go.
Picking some stuff to do.
Guy in the top left is really excited. Look at him there.
Yes, Gene's going yes. So
Yes,
I'm
thumb up and a
testing.
cup of
I'm
coffee.
testing a battery, a fuel cell, and a jet engine. So
There he goes.
fly the ship into the sea again, because the jet engine needs to be tested when splashed down, and the fuel cell's on. Yes, brilliant science.
Science.
So I'm buying Advanced Electrics for 300, which has the Gigantor XL solar array,
What the hell is that?
and that's a giant solar panel. But this is another lifter. It contains food for
right.
the zoology bay. That's what the sort of red canister thing is.
All
around
right.
the
So
top.
we're going to start. We're going to have a zoo in space.
So we're going to feed the animals that we've got up there, which is quite
Yeah.
nice. And when you feed them, it generates a slow trickle of actual science points as well. Not very many in Kerbal, but the way I see it, the more science we have, the better. So
Okay.
that's what this ship is for, with its mighty number of rocket boosters. And the food's rather heavy,
Yeah.
I mean, we've launched... the science lab was 15 tons, and the zoology bay was 25 tons, and the food thing, I think, itself is 20.
That's a lot of food.
Otherwise, I'd have glued one on when we launched that.
Yeah.
When we launched the zoology bay in the first place, I'd have stuck one on, but no. Anyway,
And here it goes.
So we're
Food
off.
in space.
Food
So basically, we're
into
flying a
the
large
orbit.
tin can full of food into space.
Yep. Gigantic kind of spam or something.
That's a lot of rockets, and
Yeah, 8 boosters again.
they're running out quick.
Yeah, well, it's running at more than usual speed, obviously. You see the timer ticking up
Yeah.
just to get through it, but yeah, they're thrusting us mightily upwards,
Yeah.
which is their job, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
get
What
on
are they
with it.
doing? They're exploding and they're running away, like
It's a-
impersonating, small pigeons.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't their
It's-
job. That's
it's
not what we
making
wanted them to. We wanted boosting.
Making a weird squeaky noise. No.
Yeah.
We want the ones that boost.
Oh well.
Right, but then, I mean, we do cruelly abandon them as soon as we've used them up, so...
Yeah.
like,
Cast them aside.
We have no need of you now, be gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, gravity turn, as per the usual. I do quite like the way sort of the blue shades away into black as the higher you go. That's quite
Yeah.
nice.
Nice in the background there.
So, our tin of food thrusting
Hoorah.
into orbit. Still, I mean, we're still doing okay on these.
We've got a few lights on the top there. It's strangely flat topped on the bottom there. We haven't got any sort of cone streamlining or anything.
No, again, because oops, I kind of messed it. Note of that again. Because there's no effectively no aerodynamics in that way. Streamlining doesn't work, so there's no fairing on it. So what's on top is just the docking port. So I'm going to dock
So
it
it
to
can
the
look
station
like
with.
anything, really.
Yeah. So it doesn't need a fairing. Otherwise, if streamlining had an effect, I would have put a fairing around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're doing okay on that big booster so far. We haven't yet reached the point at which the mightiest engine we have is insufficient, and we have to try gluing multiple ones together. That time may come. I don't know. But yeah, it's quite nice, a quad booster there. And thrust a bit more.
It does look quite business-like,
Into
actually, with
orbit.
that flat end.
Yeah, it's very purposeful. It's a
Yeah.
battering ram. So now the usual mucking about, trying to get an intercept and failing. So yeah,
Round and round and round we go.
yeah. So I go round and round some more. I do at some point more or less work out how to do this, but I haven't done it yet on this particular one. And now I'm just trying very hard not to dip into the atmosphere again in an embarrassing manner like I did last time. So this is me
Might
going.
call a bit of explosion.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a lot of tilt.
Yeah, this is me going, I've done this a bit wrong. I need to adjust the orbit the other way. So spin the ship round, thrust retrograde. Because if you're behind the station, you need to be in a lower. Also, the lift stage ran out of fuel there. If you're behind the station, you need to be in a lower orbit so you can catch it up. But I shifted it so the part of the orbit was above, which just means you were catching up more slowly.
So is that the two going round on the bottom there?
Yeah, you can kind of just make them out in the orbit. The station's on the yellow path and the ship's on the blue one.
So just coming round to say about 3 o'clock there.
Yeah, that's
Off
it.
they go. Yeah.
So they will catch up, and eventually I worked out that what you actually should be doing, I don't work it out quite yet, I just muck this up a few times, but what you actually should be doing is go probably until the ship is just ahead of the station, because then when you push part of your orbit outside that of the station, then that'll slow you down relative to the station. You can control the interception at that point quite well, but it takes me a while to figure that out, and I'm just still faffing about. It's like, is this going to work? No.
Is that going to work?
Maybe. 19.7 kilometers. I think I get one that's pretty good there. It's a 3 kilometer one. So we go, okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
And now more docking.
Definitely getting close.
Yep. So we're 56 seconds out. So I start. I manage to do this pretty much every time.
We have got a few lights.
Find it in the darkness.
Yeah.
So yeah, what would make really great watching if I were to do yet another docking with the station in utter pitch blackness. Alright, let's do that then. It's kind of focusing on getting the interception rather than arranging for it to be on the light side. So, but
500 meters, very close.
But yeah, we're quite close in. I also figure out this docking alignment thing properly this time as well.
Zoom. That's getting very close.
Yes, it looks a bit scarier than it really was.
So we're aiming for the little
sped
pink
up.
flashy thing.
The pink thing is the command module. Actually, no.
Oh, right.
No, that's wrong. Sorry. The pink thing is
a lovely view there.
The pink thing is the
Zoom out
current
there.
target. The yellow square thing, diamond thing, is the command module.
That's where we want to nail it to.
So we want to nail it onto the pink thing. You were right. I was wrong the first time.
Right. Yeah.
So the way it actually works, I kind of described the navigation, the docking alignment thing wrong. The way it actually works is the orange target is alignment with the port. So if you have the orange target dead center like I've got it there, then you're parallel to the port. So you just need to get the green crosshair lined up over it, and that means you're also in front of the port. So all you need to do is move forward, and you will touch. And this is me rotating to get the lights to line up, because the red one was at the top and now the yellow one is. So that's obviously very important. And just a bit of gentle thrusting forwards.
Last little bit. Yeah, it's annoying it doesn't tell you 16 metres to the target thing, but not how far to the pink thing. You've got to take it by your eye.
It's on the alignment indicator. It actually does, because there's two distances there.
Ah.
It's 1.5 metres away
0.3
now.
metres a second.
Yep, just very gently. And clunk. Done!
Whee!
That was, fairly uneventful as dockings go.
Yeah, nothing
And now we look
exploded.
there and go, look, using up 2 Kerbal per day, creating 1 science per day. So there we go. So that's the first launch of the day. A success. Hurrah. I say of the day, it actually takes ages to whiz around in orbits, but of this episode. And of course adds 2 more crew to the complement, because there's 2 of them in the lander can driving this ship.
Yeah. Maybe we ought to get some of them back to Earth.
At some point we will. There's actually 4 people in lander cans, because there's 2 ships attached.
All right.
And we have experiment pods attached as well, so they're going to be running experiments in them, and then detaching and returning once they're complete. So yeah, we've Herring and Jonvin were the pilots who just arrived, apparently.
Yep. And there's Jebediah there
Jebediah's
still,
there,
of course.
Still looking a bit like he's had his head removed, and it's just floating above his body.
Yeah.
I think the station may be rotating slightly after that docking as well. It seems to have gone off axis a little.
A little bit of momentum.
Oh well. So that's lovely.
Can you actually get to the point where you can start adding artificial gravity through rotation?
Not really. You can kind of pretend that you are.
Right.
But if you ever kind of go and put it on rails at all, or use time acceleration, any rotation that you add to it will stop anyway. Because it only does the physics calculations when it's running at 1 times speed.
Oh, okay.
So you can pretend if you want. But
if you close your eyes and really believe.
you spin it round and round and round and go, yay, artificial gravity. Okay, that's enough of that. But yeah. And then what we'll be doing next is launching the cyclotron.
Launch the cyclotron.
Cyclotron B, in fact, because there were 2 cyclotron launches, but they looked exactly the same. So we're just going to show one, the second one. There it is, sitting on top of the rocket. It's massive.
It looks quite sinister, really.
It's huge. It's 35 tons. You may notice that the lift stage is actually taller than it was in the previous launch, because
we need even more fuel.
There's an extra fuel tank in there. So, yep, and this is Cyclotron B, ready to go. Again, just a big lumpy thing.
Yep.
And I think I renamed the docking port to be Cyclotron B here, so that when we come to dock stuff onto it later,
we'll know what it is.
or cycloton, as I initially type. Yeah, so we can dock onto the right port. Cyclotron B, done.
What's the? We had a little bit of a wave on the scanny thing on the, and we're away. Goodbye, flag.
Boosh. But yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but we're lifting the same number of boosters, lifting much more slowly this time.
They seem to be slowly grinding up.
We're grinding our way up, but the thrust to weight is much lower.
Yeah.
And previously the boosters have taken us to nearly 10,000 meters. They don't go anywhere near as far this time.
No, we're gonna hit one maybe 3-4K.
Yeah, and then we'll all be on the big quad.
There they go.
Cluster, and it bounces again as well.
That's not good.
The cyclotron pogos as we drop the boosters off. And it's got struts holding it together as well, but it's still because
obviously needs stronger struts or
I guess
something.
because it's so heavy. It doesn't wobble too badly now, but it's just with the shock there of that happening, it just bounces up.
Yeah.
Right, so 10,000 meters and do the turn as usual. You can see the thing pogoing again. Oh my god, I didn't really.
It's so wobbly on
at
the
the
top.
time. I was kind of concentrating on the nav ball. I didn't notice how bad that was wobbling. Wow. It's no wonder the ship goes a bit sort of crazy and the attitude adjustment thing sort of flips back and forth for a bit. Still, we are still going up, which is the correct direction.
In a wobbly sort of way.
In a wobbly sort of way. Up into...
Up.
To the dawn. Okay.
Yep.
And again, same sort of deal. Find an orbit. Spend too much time getting this exactly right, which I can't seem to not do. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be exactly right. It's we're not going to stay in the orbit I'm putting us in anyway. So as long as we're up there and not grazing the atmosphere, it's good. I always kind of go, no, I want it circular. All right, and we're sort of again. Don't tweak it, Symes. Just leave it alone. It's fine.
Nothing can go wrong.
It's fine. All right, then we punch it.
As long as the duct tape holds.
Punch it and out of fuel.
Whee!
And, oh, look at it pogoing again. My God. So much more visible when it's on sped up like this.
Yeah.
Right, of course, being very cunning, I've launched when we're pretty much opposite the planet from the station, so this is going to take a little while, or rather a large number of orbits, because I just said, okay, let's just whiz round at high speed here.
Yeah.
Again, I'm certain there's a cleverer way of doing it than this, but I haven't worked out what it is. Almost there. Right. I think this is more or less where I work out that you can just get to where the station is ahead, and then you can pretty much go
just
from
wait.
there. If you're just slightly ahead, then you can then get a really close intersection on the opposite side of the planet. And once again, on the dark side. Well done, me.
We have a few tentative lights on there. Maybe a big post-it note saying, "Put more lights on it, damn it!"
Yeah, the station has lights on, which is kind of the main thing. I didn't really need them before because I think we came round into the sunlight. But when it is pitch black during the docking, I do turn the station lights on. But you still really can't see the ship. And
I mean, if you're orbiting, you could always just park nearby, wait till it's daylight, and then go in.
Yes, the orbits do drift, but it doesn't drift a terrible amount if you manage to get down to zero relative velocity. So
yeah,
park quite close in and wait.
So what are we waiting for? Well, we can't see.
Anything. We'd quite like to see the station we're trying to dock with.
Call me traditional, but I like to know where I'm going.
Where's your sense of adventure?
Crashing through the atmosphere in flames. That's where it went.
Yeah. So then I select the forward ventral docking port. Yes.
Not the ventral.
Yeah, the ventral, because the dorsal one is currently occupied by the other cyclotron.
Yeah.
So there it is. The station is actually quite close now, but it's in darkness, so you can only just make out the Christmas tree. But
jingle bells,
now
bells.
Now you can see the lights in the lab as well. And now I turn the lights on. There we are. That's better. You can actually see that there's a space station there.
Oh, that's what it is.
Rather than just a collection of lights floating in the darkness.
Yeah, some lunatic has fired LEDs into space just to confuse us.
There's just a big load of rings and nothing else there being pranked.
Yeah. Some hula hoops.
So, the cyclotron is really heavy, and so it takes quite a lot of reaction thrust to move it around, and I'm kind of getting it lined up here. Getting there. And it's slightly off balance as well, which means that when you do a lateral thrust, it twists the ship around as well. Which is a bit
All
annoying.
the wobbling probably doesn't help.
Yeah, that's part of the problem, especially because the stability assist tries to right the rotation that's been put on, but the ship's not really rotating that much, it's just wobbling. So you get this sort of overcompensation thing. And right about now, I go, hang on, wait, this looks a bit close. It says 10 meters, but that's kind of 10 meters to the side. Yeah, we're really close actually. And back up, clunk.
Beep, beep, beep.
So we actually nudge the station there, and then back away. Whoops. But it's, even though it's like in the darkness, you still can't really see it. Although the sun's coming up now. But it's starting to look like a real sort of purposeful piece of equipment.
Looking like you might be able to sell it on eBay.
Space station, slightly scratched.
It's only pogos when you're not looking at it.
Yeah, some minor dings. Okay, so now the thing is actually lined up properly. And we're going in for a docking. Slowly. I may, be overcautious with these things, to be honest.
Well, if you don't explode, that's probably a good thing.
Yep. Well, like they say, anyone you can walk away from.
Yep, is a good one.
Yeah, but I actually nudged it there, but because the cyclotron is so massive, the magnets on the docking port are having a hard time just keeping it clamped on.
Yeah.
So it kind of bounces off and wobbles around a little bit, and I'm kind of going, well, come on, because it's wobbling back and forth in front of the port.
Yeah.
And I turn the SAS and stuff off to see if the magnets can just do the job themselves. And then, not quite, so I turn the thrusters back on and thrust forward a bit, and no. Yeah. Alright.
A bit more wobbling.
Try turning it a little bit. Just come on.
Come on, you can do it.
Turn
if
a little
you
bit.
really believe.
Hey, magic! Finally.
Hey.
And there's cyclotron A in the foreground there, as launched and
Double
detached
cyclotron.
earlier. So we've got a full sort of
Compliments.
cruciform thing being built up here.
Yeah.
But because the cyclotrons are so heavy, there's no additional equipment attached to the rendezvous stage at all.
Yeah.
So there's no experiments or anything attached to it. So what we do is we check the Eurekas. All of that orbiting, we actually earned another 15 or so. Actually, no, plus the cyclotron launch. Cyclotron A and cyclotron B timing give us another 15 Eurekas in the plant growth experiment. So it's still going to take a while to finish.
Raw.
Yeah, but there's no experiments attached to the rendezvous stage, so it just has to go home again. So Airy and Dilming, who piloted the ship up here.
Yep.
Is it Elry? Oh, Alry. And Dilming Kerman. They will just shortly detach and return.
So actually sending some people back down.
Yeah. It's like, all right, you've brought it up here, but now that it's here, we don't need you anymore. So go home.
Yeah. You're not allowed to join the party.
No. The huge party that we're having in space. It looks good when the sun's on it.
Yeah. Which it isn't, of course. Well, the space looks quite good in the background.
Yeah. Well, the sun's on it right now because we're
right.
actually orbited around into the sunlight again. The lights on it aren't that powerful. So the sun's just come up. Yeah, I thought it's a bit of a fuel transfer thing going on, so I'm using this ship manifest thing to put spare fuel into the station because it is a fuel station after all.
Yeah.
So put it into the big S3 14400 tank. And it just pumps across.
There's a nice bit of green lighting there.
Yeah, it's highlighting on this ship manifest thing to show you where the source and destination tanks are. So the source tank is red, so it's on the lander there, and the set destination tank is green, and all of the yellow ones are ones which hold the same resources you're currently accessing, so you can tell where they are. And I'm just equalising by eye the amount of liquid fuel and oxidizer.
Yeah.
Because it's roughly 1-to-1, but I'm not very good at sums, so 1 to 1.1 rather. So let's give it some more. 67, that's probably alright. Now do some monoprop. I don't know why I click up there. I keep doing it. I've been clicking down on the buttons down below for everything else, and I go up to there and
Click on
click on
some
those.
buttons all the time.
So yeah, the cupola module has no monoprop in it because it was all used up in previous manoeuvres, so we put some in there, and then I spend a little bit of time trying to put some into the big RCS fuel tank that sits under the cupola module, going, why doesn't it work? And eventually going, oh, it's full. Let's put that away. So, and now detach the ship.
Quite sinister. Get rid of them.
Be gone.
Bye. See you later.
Clunk.
You did
And they are decoupled.
junk.
And that's a nice shot of a completely different module, because that's not the ship we're actually controlling at all. It's back there where we can't. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So thrust away from the station using RCS. Spin around. So agile without any stuff attached to it. It's night and day, it really is. Point retrograde and boost. And away we go. And the station falls.
Is there
away
any
into the background.
that goes wow into the sun?
It's
And
quite a nice view.
the sun sent slowly into the west, or into the space.
So the station falls away, or we fall away from it.
Yeah.
What were you going to ask? You were going to ask me something.
I can't remember now.
Okay.
I was bimbling. I was just generally bimbling. I was trying to think. Oh yeah, so when you fire the rocket, if you fire it too close to the space station, is anything bad going to happen?
Yeah, the thrust will push the station around, and if you thrust against any sort of particularly fragile components, like say extended solar panels, it can break them off.
Ah, right.
So you don't want to do that.
No.
Thump. And we've landed. Hooray! This
That looks
a big pointy thing.
a big rolling pin, basically. We're firing a rolling
We're
pin
launching
into
a rolling
space.
pin in space. I actually wait for the sun to come up to do this launch.
That's
So
a bit
it's
smart.
So now we can see the rocket. And away it goes. Significantly.
Fire the rolling pin into the stars.
Significantly quicker than the last one.
There's a lot less weight on this one.
Yeah,
then.
it's very tall, but there's much less mass in it.
Mm.
Because the fairing, although
So
it looks
what's in this one then?
quite impressive, is mostly empty.
Oh yeah, well, we're down to like up to 2.5k there, and we're still on 50%.
Yeah, I mean, I think this entire vehicle is 100 tons lighter than the previous one. So,
Yeah.
so yeah,
So what's actually on this one?
this is the solar panels we're going to attach to the station.
Ah, right. Okay. Cool.
And it's so tall because there's two lots of solar panels on it. I'm going to use
Right.
the same one rendezvous ship to attach them both, which seemed like a good idea.
That sounds crazy. So crazy, it'll hopefully work.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes.
We will, I'm sure. Well, I hope anyway. We could just say, no, we stop here now, and we just lament our existence.
There's also, on this craft, an experimental engine on the rendezvous stage, because we're doing another parts test, but actually as part of a mission.
Okay.
Which I think is the first time ever.
So, what we're going to do with this experimental engine, I know. Let's send it into space.
We'll put it on this essential space station maintenance mission. What
This
could
really,
possibly go
really
wrong?
expensive component, and fire it into space. Oh, yeah, sounds great.
So, yeah. Spin
Nothing will
around
go wrong.
and
Do
circularize.
rockets ever explode?
They can overheat and blow up, but it kind of requires them to be next to something else that stops the heat getting away from them. Particularly, like boosters can overheat if you kind of glue them to other boosters.
Oh, so you don't get like fatal launches or explosions or any of that shizzle.
Not by default, no. There are a couple of mods, one of which is called Dang It, which simulate random failures of components. But by default, no. So check my contract. We're at the correct altitude to test this engine, so that's good.
Yep.
And then go over and fix the staging there, because that's wrong. That shouldn't be
Yep.
with the parachutes. Put that in the right place. Okay, press the stage button, and away! Away goes the fairing, which I think looks really cool.
That looks quite good. That reminds me of, was it Moonraker?
Yeah. And there's the decidedly non-aerodynamic contents.
Yeah, looking
Just-
a bit delicate.
That big girder structure.
Yeah.
And there's a lovely radiation hazard trefoil on the engine fairing there as well, because it's a nuclear
Lovely.
engine. And I also can't quite work
Nothing can go wrong.
because the Cessna stock engines you stage to them,
Yeah.
but this is a modular rocket systems engine, and it doesn't work that way. It uses a different thing, so it takes me a little while to work out what's happening. Oh, it hasn't worked. What's going on? Right click on it. Oh, there's a run test button. Click. Okay, done. Hey! And then we get the message that the contract is complete, and we get 611,000 funds.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cash.
That basically pretty much paid for all the launches this episode. And they were expensive launches too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we're up again. So we're behind the station again, but I'm once again gonna rotate the ship. This, obviously not at 1-to-1 speed here, and bring the periapsis down a bit so that we go a bit faster than the station, and then we catch it up.
Okay.
I'm getting the hang of it now. It takes much less time for me to work out what the hell to do. So now you do the intersection. This there's a stock nuclear engine in the game as well. The one we've got on here is one for the big 2.5 meter stacks. The stock one is for the 1.25 meter ones, which are the ones you start with. So it's just basically 4 times the size of a standard nuclear engine. So we've got our interception. And we'll just go around and do the thing with the thing.
Do it.
Do the thing with the thing and the thing.
Yep.
Right, so here we are.
Approaching.
And I turn the RCS on so we can spin this thing around quickly, because time is a factor now that we're approaching the station. And
Still got lots of fuel though.
well, the monopropellant is we've burned a quarter of it just in that manoeuvre.
Oh.
So yeah, initially it seems fine, but the other thing is that, again, this is a long and quite wobbly structure, so it's
Well, at least it's not bouncing.
No, it doesn't pogo. It's too light for that, but it does wobble, and so the stability assist.
Oh yeah, I can see that now.
Yeah, it's very pronounced in the sped up footage. It just wibbles around, which makes the stability assist thing go crazy. And if the RCS thrusters are on, the stability assist uses them to try and keep the thing stable, so it's constantly burning a monoprop if it's turned on.
Yeah.
So we've used half the monoprop nearly now. We're still on the approach to the station.
That's not good.
Turn the lights on, because once again,
It's in the dark.
arriving in utter darkness.
Yeah.
Well done me. And you just look at the yellow prograde thing wobbling around on the nav ball. That's because we're controlling from the docking port, and it's flailing around at the end of the ship. It's just wobbling all over the place.
That's a bad thing.
That's not good. And the other thing about this is that all of the mass in the ship is at the back. So again, if you use lateral thrusters, it'll rotate the ship, because the positions of the thrusters are not balanced. And we are now at less than 1/4 of the monoprop.
That's probably not a good thing.
Still, we're coming in. Managed to line up more or less correctly. Just adjusting. We're still 100 metres away rather than bumping sideways into the station like last time. So at least there's that. We're going to dock onto the end of the cyclotron, onto cyclotron A, and then detach again and take the other set of solar panels around to the other side and put them on cyclotron B. It's not essential to do that, I just thought it would look good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're now cruising in. Monoprop burning away, 12 units of it now. Yeah, and bonk, we nudge the station and bounce off.
Oops.
So I use the rocket engines to make us go forwards again. Again, just trying to get the ports lined up properly. Can't see really how well it's doing because of how dark it is. and we run out of monoprop, and then it docks.
So,
So yeah, that was a bit closer than I would have liked. Luckily, this is a refueling station, which has
so we can
a
refuel.
load of monopropellant in it, so we can put some back into the ship for moving the other solar array around. But yeah, that was rather too close. So I kind of go, okay, let's top the ships up. The two completely empty tanks. There's the Mark II lander can and the two Stratus 5 roundified tanks at 0.
So we may as well chuck it all across, I guess,
So-
because we're going to dock and we can always throw it back afterwards.
Exactly, yes. So we just kind of go, okay, just fill them up.
And then eject it afterwards.
Yep, so just fill them all up. Both of the mounted tanks full, and I go, alright, yep, top up the lander as well. That's full too. The ship is now full. Hurrah!
Hooray.
Close that off. Now, I do something that's a bit cunning.
How cunning.
Oh, it's really cunning. You're gonna love it. Just checking out the station there.
Yeah.
Looks a bit lopsided right now, but we're gonna fix that.
Right.
But you know what
Yeah.
I do? I wait for the sun to come up.
No.
Yeah. How cunning is that? There's like time warp around
That's
the planet.
unheard of.
And so we can see what we're doing. Oh, and there's the moon, which is nice.
Yay.
And
Could we have
sunrise.
have we got any jets actually on this station? So we could have ejected what's attached to us, spun the station around, and then attached again.
Yeah, everything that's attached to it has the thrusters that we use to dock with it. So yes, that is a thing that could have been done, which did not occur to me. I don't know how successful it would have been, but it might have looked cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I actually do use the jets to orient the station in a bit once it's all put together.
Yeah.
But now we've detached the ship again, backing away. Make sure we've got some space choose to control from the docking port. And I can't actually target the other docking port because it's on the other side of the station at the moment, so we're just going to have to fly around first. And you can see the front end wobbling back and forth when I'm doing the lateral thrust.
Yeah.
Because of the way the mass is unbalanced. Yeah, just put a bit of thrust out of the main engine just to bring us cruising past the station. Okay, target is set.
And around we go.
And spin round to point in the correct direction because we're moving more or less the right way at the right now, so we just need to point this way, wait till the ship drifts back past the station, and then line it up and go forwards again.
Yeah. Now we've got lots of fuel.
Yes, now the monoprop. Oh, but again, we've burned 30 units of it already. So, there's not enough on this ship. I should have added bigger tanks.
But so maybe ought to send monoprop tanks up.
Well, no, it's just this lander has additional tanks on it, but they aren't. They are the smallest additional tanks you can put on. And I should have used the two larger ones, which would have more than doubled the amount of propellant on the ship.
That is so wobbly.
Yeah, it's just flopping back and forth, but it's lined up quite well.
Yep.
So
Looking good.
and
Targeter looking nice.
cruising in. Just
Drum roll.
tweak things. Boink,
Clunk.
thump and docked.
Excellent.
That one went much better.
So are we going to eject the bit on the end?
Eventually, the
Transfer fuel over and whatnot.
Yeah, the rendezvous stage CS is me rotating the station with the RCS thrusters because the reaction wheels do not have enough go to do it by themselves anymore because there's so much mass attached.
Yeah.
But I ejected it so that the solar panels none of the solar panels are shadowed, so we can get full power. But yeah, the rendezvous
Throw the switch.
The rendezvous stage will eventually be discarded, but it's got 4 experiment modules attached to it, so we're going to be doing experiments with it first. So Alri and Dilming will be attached to the station for a little while.
Yep.
And solar panels.
Lovely.
Now it's looking like a real space station.
It is, yeah. Now it just needs missiles.
How's the experiment going? Nearly halfway done.
Yep.
And that's it. That's our space station. Or at least that's the science part of it. We could, add more stuff and put some escape pods on or whatever.
Like missiles.
If we had missiles, we could put missiles on.
A giant laser.
A huge laser cannon. But yeah, the science part of it's done. I think it's looking pretty good.
Yep. Once we get rid of that bit on the end.
Yes, we'll ditch the ship eventually. And that is us for today.
Lovely.
So, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Yes, that was good.
Enjoy this.
Now we've got a proper space station.
View of our beautiful space station. Next time we might go and do something else for a bit, like on the moon. So thanks for joining us, as I said, and we will see you next time.
Toodaloo.
Bye.